Revised Para 1. The studio lights blazed on October 16, 2025, in New York, where Norah O'Donnell faced Prince Harry on CBS Evening News. Dressed sharply, Norah smiled coolly, while Harry, looking tense, settled in. Cameras rolled as she greeted him. "Harry, welcome back." He replied warily, recalling their last intense talk. Viewers sensed the undercurrent. Norah quickly probed his new memoir, her questions pointed. Harry's answers were cautious, fingers tapping nervously. Producers in the control room anticipated drama. This interview, rushed after a leak, was set to ignite. Armed with intel, Norah prepared to challenge him. The stage was set for a clash that would echo worldwide. As topics turned personal, the air thickened with unspoken barbs, Harry's poise beginning to crack under the relentless spotlight. Norah leaned forward, her gaze piercing like a hawk spotting prey. "Harry, in your book, you claim the royal family silenced your voice for years. But sources say you were the one leaking stories to the press to boost your brand. How do you respond to that?" The question hung heavy, a direct hit to his credibility. Harry's face flushed, his blue eyes narrowing as he straightened in his chair. "Norah, that's a distortion. I've been fighting misinformation my whole life, first with Diana's death, now with this circus. The palace played games. I just wanted truth." The audience murmured invisibly through screens, social media already lighting up with #HarryVsNorah. Norah didn't flinch, countering swiftly, "Truth. Or revenge? Your brother William called it betrayal in private letters we've obtained." Harry's jaw clenched, the vein in his neck pulsing visibly. He shot back, "William. He's trapped in that machine, married to the institution. I chose freedom, for Meghan, for our kids." The exchange escalated, words flying like sparks from flint. Studio crew exchanged glances, sensing the shift from dialogue to duel. Harry's voice rose an octave, his British accent clipping sharper with each syllable. Norah, unflappable, jotted a note, her pen scratching like claws on chalkboard. Outside, fans gathered, phones aloft, capturing the building frenzy. This wasn't banter, it was a verbal joust, Harry's defenses crumbling as Norah peeled back layers of his polished facade. The commercial break loomed, but neither yielded, locked in a stare that promised more fireworks. As ads rolled, whispers spread. Was this the humiliation Harry's camp feared? Back on air, Norah circled back, relentless. "Let's talk Diana. Did you really blame the royals for her paparazzi chase, or was it your own media hunger?" Harry's retort was fiery. "You of all people should understand journalism's dark side." The heat was palpable, sweat beading on his brow under the unforgiving lights. The argument ignited fully when Norah produced a printed email chain, holding it up to the camera like evidence in a trial. "This, from 2023, shows your team shopping stories about Archie's school to TMZ. Care to explain?" Harry's composure shattered. He leaned in, voice low and venomous. "That's fabricated. You're stooping to tabloid tricks now, Norah. CBS should be ashamed." Gasps echoed in the control room. Had he just attacked the network? Norah's eyes widened fractionally, but she recovered with a cool smile. "Fabricated. We verified it with 3 sources. Is this how you honor your mother's legacy, by denying facts on live TV?" The mention of Diana was the match to gasoline. Harry's hands balled into fists, his face a mask of fury. "Don't you dare invoke her. You weren't there when the flashes blinded us, when she died because of your industry's vultures." The studio fell silent save for the hum of lights, the weight of history pressing down. Viewers at home tweeted furiously. Hashtags trending globally. #Prince Harry meltdown. Norah pressed on, her tone measured but merciless. "Yet you courted that industry with Netflix deals and polo streams. Hypocrisy, Harry." He slammed his palm on the table, a sharp crack that made producers jump. "Hypocrisy is the monarchy hiding affairs while preaching duty. Camilla's the real puppet master." The name drop sent shockwaves. Charles would fume in Buckingham. Norah nodded knowingly. "Speaking of, your father ignored your calls during Meg's breakdown. Was that painful?" Harry's laugh was bitter, eyes glistening. "Painful. It was abandonment. But go on, dissect my soul for ratings." The barbs flew faster, Harry's royal restraint evaporating into raw emotion. Crew members shifted uncomfortably, one signaling for a cut, but the director waved them off. This was gold. As the segment stretched, Harry's breaths came ragged, his narrative unraveling thread by thread under Norah's surgical strikes. Midway through, the heat peaked as Norah shifted to Meghan, her voice softening deceptively. "Your wife faced racist abuse, you say. But insiders claim she alienated the family with demands for special treatment. What's the real story? Harry's eyes blazed, standing halfway from his seat before sinking back. Racist. Try vile trolls egged on by palace plants. Meghan saved me, Nora, she saw the cage I was in. The passion in his voice cracked, vulnerability peeking through the anger. Nora tilted her head, empathetic yet probing. Saved you. Or dragged you into exile. Polls show 70% of Brits think you're ungrateful. The statistic stung like salt in a wound. Harry recoiled as if slapped. Polls, bought by the same rags that hounded Diana. You're complicit, feeding the beast. The accusation hung, personal now, aimed at Nora's core. She paused, then fired back, complicit. I report facts, Harry. You spill tea for profit, Spare sold millions on family dirt. He gestured wildly, words tumbling, profit. It's catharsis. You wouldn't understand loyalty beyond a byline. The studio air thickened, charged with betrayal's bitter tang. Off camera, a producer mouthed, "Wrap it," but Nora ignored, drawing blood with precision. Harry's cheeks burned crimson, sweat trickling despite cool AC. This interview was a setup, he muttered, loud enough for mics. Nora arched a brow. A setup? Or accountability? Sit down, Harry, we're not done. He complied, seething, the power dynamic flipping live. Viewers watched transfixed, ratings soaring as the prince's armor dented visibly. Social scrolls exploded with memes of his flushed face, captions screaming, "Royals roasted." Yet beneath the spectacle, a deeper wound festered, Harry's quest for voice twisted into a public flogging. Nora, sensing victory, eased into safer waters, but the damage lingered, Harry's spirit frayed on the altar of truth. As the clock neared segment's end, Nora circled to legacy, her questions laced with finality. You've built Invictus, a triumph. But does trashing your family undermine that good? Harry, spent but defiant, rubbed his temples. Undermine, it's exposing rot so healing can start. William will thank me one day. Nora chuckled softly, a sound like ice cracking. Thank you, after you called him bald and balding. That's brotherly love. The quip landed like a gut punch. Harry sputtered, context. It was banter, you're twisting it for clicks. The retort fell flat, his energy waning under the barrage. Nora leaned back, triumphant, banter or bitterness. America loves your candor, but the UK sees spite. Harry's shoulders slumped, the fight draining as reality sank in, live, unedited, his words weapons turned against him. Spite, try survival, he whispered, voice breaking. The vulnerability hit hard, even Nora softened. Momentarily, survival's lonely, isn't it? Without the crown's shield, he met her eyes, raw honesty flashing. Devastating, but I'd choose it over lies. Silence stretched, profound, broken only by director's cue. Applause cues played awkwardly as they wrapped, Nora extending a hand he shook limply. Off air, crew exhaled collectively, the room electric with aftermath. Harry's team huddled, faces ashen. This wasn't promotion, it was pillory. Nora retreated to green room, notebook filled with conquests, knowing she'd etched history. Outside, paparazzi swarmed, flashes mocking his earlier rage. Harry's limo waited, but the humiliation clung like smoke, a bitter souvenir from primetime's Coliseum. Viewers debated endlessly, victim or villain. The prince, once untouchable, now fodder for watercoolers. As credits rolled, one truth endured. In the arena of truth, no one emerges unscathed, least of all a spared son seeking absolution. In the days following the broadcast, the fallout cascaded like dominoes across global media. Clips of Harry's palm slam went viral, spawning SNL skits and think pieces dissecting his unraveling. Humiliated Harry trended, Buckingham issued icy silence, while Montecito's gates stayed shut. Nora, lionized as the reporter who slayed a prince, fielded calls from Oprah to Letterman. Yet privately, she pondered the cost. Had she pushed too far, turning journalism into spectacle? Harry, nursing wounds in his SoCal haven, drafted a statement, grateful for tough questions, dialogue demands discomfort. But insiders whispered retreat, no more TV, perhaps a pivot to podcasts. Meghan, supportive shadow, urged therapy over tweets. The royals watched warily, Charles toying with reconciliation olive branches. Public opinion split. Americans cheered the underdog's grit, Brits mourned the lost boy soldier. Ratings for CBS spiked 40%, proving controversy's currency. Harry's Invictus speech days later rang hollow, echoes of Nora's barbs lingering. Truth isn't tidy, he told veterans, eyes distant. Nora, on her next broadcast, reflected, interviews test souls, mine included. The encounter, born of ambition, birthed unlikely respect, emails exchanged post-mortem, hints of future collab. Yet the scar remained. A live TV tango where steps faltered, leaving Harry exposed, dignity dented but spirit unbroken. In the grand narrative of Fallen Crowns, this chapter, fiery, flawed, reminded all, vulnerability invites vultures but authenticity endures. As October faded, whispers of healing stirred, a sequel perhaps softer. For now, the world watched, waiting for the spared one's next move in this endless royal drama. Fade to black on a humbled prince, wiser in defeat, plotting his phoenix rise from televised ashes.